You are standing in the dark, and there is a sword in your hand. The man in front of you is already falling. You do not know his face yet. You will, too late. You have done this before. A card table, a name called wrong, a blade out before the candle gutters. You have been a soldier, a killer, a man who gambles his nights away. And here is the part no one believes. A king is going to pay you a pension for this. A pope is going to bless the clothes you stole. They were going to make you a bride of God. You are none of the things the world will decide you were. So who is bleeding out at your feet? And who, exactly, are you? A man is dead at your feet, and you are not breathing hard. That should frighten you. It does not. Nothing does by now. You wipe the blade on your sleeve. You have a name tonight, and it is not the one you were born with. You have had several. Somewhere a long way from here, a king will hear about a soldier like you and reach for the treasury. A pope will hear and reach for a blessing. They will call it service. They will call it a miracle. They have not seen what you see when you look down. You feel nothing for the man on the ground. Remember that emptiness. It is the only honest thing in this whole story. You were not born to this field. You were born behind a locked door, and someone settled your entire life before you could speak. You are 4 years old. Hands you do not know carry you through a stone door, and the door shuts behind you. This is a convent in San Sebastian. The women here have given their lives to God. They have decided you will give yours too. No one asks you. Inside these walls, that question is not allowed to exist. You learn the prayers. You learn to kneel. You learn which nun's hand is heavy. A cousin of your mother runs this place. Blood put you here, and blood will keep you here until the day you take the vows. Everyone agrees on the story. A small girl, safe with God, growing into a quiet bride of the church. You wear that story like a borrowed dress. It never once fits. You are counting the years until they make it permanent. And under the prayers, you are counting the doors. You are 15. A nun beats you, and something in you goes cold and clear. At dawn, the keys are hanging where they should not be. The others are at morning prayer. You walk out. No one stops a shadow. For a week, you hide off the roads. You take your own habit, the cloth meant to bury you alive, and you cut it apart. You sew it into breeches in a boy's coat. You crop your hair down to the skull. Here is what the world will want this to be. A girl running toward freedom. It is not. You are not running toward anything. You are stitching yourself a different person because the old one has nowhere left to go. The convent door opens, and a boy walks out who has decided never to be caught again. Freedom is not what waits out there. Survival is. And survival, you are about to learn, has a price that only ever goes up. You become a boy named whatever the moment needs. You serve as a page, here and there, to men who never look twice. A page is furniture. Furniture has no past. You learn how to stand, how to spit, how to hold a man's stare half a second too long so that he looks away first. Then you take a ship. The ocean swallows San Sebastian, the convent, the girl they filed away. By the time the water ends, none of it exists anymore. You step off into the new world as a young man with steady hands and no one to answer to. The land is enormous, and it does not care who you used to be. That is the closest thing to mercy you are going to get. You take it, and you go looking for a war. You find your war in Chile, and it finds plenty of use for you. You fight in the king's name against people whose land this was. You are good at it. That is not a virtue. It is a fact, like being tall. You march, you burn. You stand in the line while men beside you come apart, and you do not break. They give you rank for it. A soldier with your record gets noticed. This is the part of the story that wears a clean uniform. A loyal man, serving the crown across the sea. It does not stay clean. Out here, no one knows the door you came through. No one knows the cloth you cut up. You are only what you do with a blade, and what you do is win. And the more you win, the less of the convent girl is left, until you are not certain there was ever anyone in there at all. They make you a lieutenant, alferez. That is the rank history will hang on you forever. A hero then. That is the word the rank wants. The word is wrong. Your nights belong to the card table, the back rooms, the cheap lamplight, the tempers cheaper still. A man says you cheated. Maybe he is not lying. You stand. The candle is still burning when he stops moving. It happens more than once. A word, a debt, a look held too long, and the blade is out before anyone has decided anything. The uniform says soldier. The colder truth is this: a person who answers small insults with a corpse. You are good company right up until you are not, and no one sees the line until they are already across it, least of all you. This is who the medal gets pinned to. A man the others drank with one night and then did not. It catches up with you, of course. One killing too many. The law comes looking, so you run to the one door that still opens for you. A church. Inside it, you cannot be touched. Sanctuary. The blood stops at the threshold, and the men who want your neck stand outside and wait. You kneel where they can see you. You let the days cool, and when it is quiet, you slip out a side door under a different name and ride for the next town. This is the rhythm of your life now. Kill, kneel, vanish, begin again. The church that locked you in as a girl is the same church that keeps hiding you as a man. It does not know it is doing both. Each time, a little more of you is buried under the new name. Each time, you are harder to find, even to yourself. You are surviving beautifully. That is not the same thing as being alive. This is a night you will write down yourself, years from now, in your own spare words. So trust it only as far as the telling holds. You are in a city street after dark. A quarrel spills out of a doorway, someone else's quarrel, and then, the way these things go, yours. A man has drawn on someone you ride with. You step in, you draw on him. You cannot see his face. The street is black, the fight is fast, and faces do not matter when steel is moving. You are very good at this. It is over quickly. He goes down, and you stand there breathing, already mapping which way to run. You have put down strangers before and felt the familiar nothing. This one is going to be different. You do not know it yet. The worst things always arrive a step ahead of their names. He is not dead yet. He is asking for a priest. You go closer, because even you do not leave a man to die alone in the dirt. You bend down, and he says a name, his own. As the life goes out of him, he tells you who he is. It is your brother. The years and the ocean and the cut-up habit and all the borrowed names, and the one stranger you finally could not see in the dark is your own blood. You knew he was somewhere in these colonies. You did not know he was in this city. You did not know it was him until your own steel had already answered for you. He dies in the street, by your hand, asking for God. And here is the thing you will carry the rest of your life. You wait for it to break you, and it does not. Not all the way. There is grief somewhere down inside, but it is buried so far under so many dead men that you can barely reach it. You bury your brother. You feel the edge of something, and then the old nothing closes back over it. That is what should frighten you. Not the killing. How little is left in you for the killing to land on. You survived everything by becoming someone who can survive anything. This is the bill for that. You cut down your own brother in the dark, and the worst part is how quietly you are able to keep walking afterward. You do what you always do. You run to a church, sanctuary again, the same cold stone, the same kneeling where the law can watch you and not touch you. Only this time, no one chasing you matters more than the thing you are carrying out the door with you. You wait the days out. You take a new name. You ride. No one claps. There is no moment where the world stops to mark what just happened inside you. The country simply absorbs it, the way it absorbs everything, the blood, the bodies, the men who walk away after. You keep moving, into colder country and colder work. And the question that started all of this, the locked door, the life chosen for you before you could speak, is still sitting there unanswered, riding right behind you in the saddle. It ends in a town called Huamanga. You are arrested. The rope is closed this time, close enough to smell, and there is no church door near enough to reach. So you do the one thing you have never done. You tell the truth. You ask for the bishop, Agustin de Carvajal, and in his room you say the words out loud for the first time in your adult life. You are a woman. You came out of a convent. You never took the vows. He does not have you hanged. He has you examined. Older women, matrons, are brought in to settle it with their own hands, and they settle it. A woman, untouched, a virgin. And the thing that should have destroyed you saves you instead. The body you spent a lifetime hiding is suddenly worth more than every medal you earned. To the church, it is a miracle in the dirt. A maiden who fought as a man and stayed pure. For 20 years, you are an obstacle to be removed. In a single afternoon, you become a relic to be protected. You walk in expecting a noose. You walk out a sensation. They send you back across the ocean, and this time the whole world is waiting for you. Your story has run ahead of you. The nun who fought as a lieutenant, the maiden under the armor. By the time your ship lands in Spain, you are famous. You are brought before the king himself. You stand in front of Philip IV, and you ask plainly to be paid for your service, and he pays. A pension, 800 escudos a year, for life, run through the Council of the Indies. A soldier's reward, handed to the woman the law should have hanged. What got rewarded is everything no one wrote down. The desertions, the card tables, the men in the dark, the brother. The crown never sees that ledger. It sees a loyal blade and a very good story, and it opens the treasury. You came up out of a stone cell as a runaway child. You are standing in a palace, being thanked. The world has decided you are a marvel. It has not once asked what you are a marvel of. Then you go to Rome. You kneel in front of the Pope, Urban VIII, and you ask him for the strangest gift in your whole strange life, permission to keep dressing as a man, for good. On paper, he gives it. The head of the church looks at a woman in a soldier's coat, a woman with a confessed body count, and signs off on the disguise. Wear the men's clothes, he says. Go and sin no more, and fear God's commandment, the one about not killing. Even he knows exactly what you are. He blesses you anyway. It is worth setting beside where you began. A child locked behind a convent door by that same church, ordered to become a quiet bride. The church that caged you has now, in writing, freed you to be the man you invented. Both of them signed by Rome. Both of them true. You should feel triumphant. You have beaten every rule that was built to bury you. But triumph is not the word for the thing sitting in your chest. You got everything. You are no longer certain there is anyone left inside to enjoy it. You could have stopped there, famous, pensioned, blessed, a legend with all its papers in order. You do not stop. Within a few years, you are on a ship again, back to the New World, and you put down even the name that made you famous. You become Antonio, a muleteer. For something like 20 years, you drive mules along the roads of New Spain, hauling other people's cargo between the capital and the coast. No medals, no crowd, just the dust and the animals and the road. The girl behind the convent door is gone. The lieutenant is gone. The miracle the Pope blessed is gone. You shed each of them like a coat, and this is the last coat. A quiet man with a string of mules, growing old where no one knows the story. Somewhere around the middle of the century, on one of those roads, you die. The accounts cannot even agree where. A village, a boat, a mountain town, even your ending refuses to settle. They bury a muleteer, and here is the only name the world ever cut into stone for you, Antonio de Erauso. A man who never existed until you built him. Over a girl they filed away as a bride of God, over every name in between. You were never the nun who found her freedom. You were someone who, to stay alive, became other people for a living and buried one by one every single one of them until there was nothing left to bury but a stranger on a quiet road. That is the part that should stay with you, not how far you traveled, how little of you arrived,